Hello, and welcome to, as some would say, tonight is one of the most important nights in the history of professional wrestling, or as some want to say tonight, the war has begun. The war. AEW Dynamite versus NXT. In the review you will be getting first right now is the review of AEW Dynamite on TNT. Like I said, this is a very, very important night, and I'm sure a lot of people are watching now to avoid spoilers because as I am currently doing this review, NXT has another 15 minutes added on their show right now. So AEW's already ended at about 9 o'clock, but NXT is still going right after this review. I will be going to watch NXT, so I'm going to check out the show from there. Will I come back with a review? Maybe, depending on how long it takes me, but it is another 2-hour show to get through. But we'll see when I get to it. Maybe it'll be today or maybe it'll be tomorrow. I will do an NXT review. But tonight I am starting off with the AEW review on TNT. Like I said before, it is a very, very big night in professional wrestling, and I'm sure a lot of people may have been flipping channels all night, or if you DVR'd it, or if you just watched one show tonight and you're gonna probably watch the other show tomorrow, if you recorded it or anything. It's still a big night. What did I do? Like I said before, like you just already heard me already, I watched AEW first because I'll tell you why I chose AEW first. I chose AEW first because they were the new show and I wanted to see what they did first, okay? Because they're the big thing right now. They're the new debut, and don't get me wrong, I know NXT has a lot loaded to tonight. I'm gonna get into when that review comes, but tonight though, I'm starting off with them because this is their big night. This is the debut on TNT if you have it, or if you're watching it on the internet or anything. So it's a lot to take from this. And how did they do on their show for AEW? I'm sorry, Dynamite. I gotta get used to calling it Dynamite and just say instead of saying AEW Dynamite. But how did they do, especially for their first show, Dynamite, as they kick off this this new thing, this new wrestling program for Wednesday nights, or Wednesday Night Dynamite, wherever you want to go with that. But we do kick it off. The intro was pretty cool, I will say that. This show did start off with pyro. We did get in the beginning. I do like the pyro. I did like the intro. Little video montage. I do like the whole multiple color kind of like explosion powder thing. I thought that was pretty good too. On commentary, we have Jim Ross, Excalibur, and Tony Schiavone, who are on the commentary table. Sold out in Washington, D.C. at the Capital One Arena. In a way, I honestly, I'm glad they put Tony Schiavone on commentary. I think it's better than the Alex Marvez guy. And I know they have Schiavone was doing a lot of interview work on if you go look at the Road to Whatever shows on the YouTube page, but just to see Schiavone back on commentary, I think that was great. I know you can hear him on MLW if you watched him through there all the time, but the fact that he is now back on TNT again since WCW almost 20 years ago, if you want to go, that's how long it's been since a wrestling program has been on TNT. So it is cool to see Schiavone back on a major wrestling program since WCW. So it's cool to see that. As they hype the matches for tonight, we did kick off tonight's first show with they had a video package for Sammy Guevara and Cody Rhodes. One thing I did like their entrances. I still like the stage. It's pretty much like we've seen it all out in the past other ones with the two tunnels and everything. So I do like that touch of it still. The touch of that still, but one thing I did notice, and maybe I didn't notice this because I didn't really go back to watch All Out since I was at All Out. If you go back and look at it, pretty much when you see the graphic of somebody coming out, there's the win-loss record for whichever wrestler comes out, and you saw that with both Guevara and Cody Rhodes out there. But pretty much as this match began, the crowd was really big on it. Fans chanted, "Sammy sucks." This was a good match to kick off the to kick off the show, I did kind of like what Shivani pretty much said, that they talked about the first match on TNT is almost like back then with WCW when it was Jushin Thunder Liger and Brian Pillman. This was good with both these guys. Excuse me. Locking up at the beginning, crowd's going nuts for it. One thing I did like was Guevara pretty much had tried to take down Cody with a kick, but Cody came back with a cutter for a near fall. I believe they said this match was like 20 minutes. One thing that was good when Cody he kicked Guevara off the ring apron, and pretty much he did a suicide dive in. Guevara threw Brandy in the way, and fans pretty much chanted asshole at him then once he did that. Another thing he did too. One thing I did like about Guevara's agility is I like that moonsault thing he did, because he did a moonsault off the top rope, missed it, did another moonsault, and did a standing moonsault, and then hit a shooting star press, which that was pretty cool after he missed two of those moonsaults, which was really good. Brandy was able to get back up, so she wasn't really down for that long. Pretty much they got on the top rope then. Cody did a reverse superplex off the top rope for a near fall. The crowd started chanting holy shit then. He was going to go for his, Gringo Killer vertebraker move, but Guevara got out of it. Sammy pretty much got on the top rope with Cody then, doing a big Spanish fly that looked cool. He was going to go for the shooting star press, but Cody put his knees up and pretty much rolled him up for the win. Interesting, he did not win by a finisher, by the way, might I ask also. So, pretty much a good opening match, a great start to start off the show, especially for the first match on TNT, the debut episode 1. So I think it was a solid match, a very solid match to kick off the show, and it was very enjoyable for about 12 minutes they had out there too. So I did enjoy the match. Pretty much then Tony Schiavone was in the ring with Cody. Cody pretty much gave him a hug, but before he began to speak, Sammy pretty much shoved Cody and wanted a handshake. Next thing you know, Chris Jericho attacked from behind, a little bit of the bubbly. He pretty much took Cody down. He hit him with a code breaker then. And by the way, a lot of this show was doing the whole picture-in-picture by thing. Just got commercial on one side and another side. The show is still going live because Chris Jericho pretty much set up some chairs then when it came back from commercial, and he powerbombed Cody on both of those chairs then, and he threw him around a couple times here and there too. So after Jericho pretty much beat the crap out of him then, somebody pointed this out to me, why didn't the elite guys come help Cody? That's a very good question. And where were the elite guys to help him from Jericho? But then again, Cody is the one with a title match. I still really don't understand why Cody gets this title shot, because I said it before, who did he really beat? And trust me, I've already heard the Jeff Jarrett comparisons as it is right now, like he's booking himself into a world title match. So in a way, I still don't understand why he is the first one to get a title shot, though, because I kind of said to myself, like, who did he really beat other than, Shawn Spears, the 10 guy and everything? Tell me, I asked you that. But Chris Jericho pretty much got on the microphone. He pretty much reminded everybody who is the champion around here of AEW, as he told the crowd to say, "You're welcome," and, fans started chanting Y2J in, and they showed some replays of what happened before they moved on to the next match then. But the next match on the card though was Brandon Cutler versus MJF. My friend pretty much said Brandon Cutler looks like a discount version of Just Incredible. And I had to agree with him. I really, really do. He does look like that. Unlike other people, he looks like something out of a created player from WWE 2K19 or 20 or whatever video game it is. It's a 2K game. But as Cutler came out, MJF came out then. He got on the microphone talking about the crowd, saying he's the youngest and fastest rising star in the history of professional wrestling. And the crowd should have an honor to watch a star be born as he faces Brandon Cutler, as he looks like a guy that got lost on his other side of the guardrail. And, you're a loser, and that Dungeons and Dragons aren't real. So I guess the guy plays Dungeons and Dragons and everything. Listen, this was probably the weakest match on this show, and it barely even went 5 minutes, too. Let me point that out there. All I can take from this match is this. Because they both went at each other. Cutler had like a sunset flip for a 2 count, which looked a little bit botched. MJF pretty much raked him from the eyes. He raked him from the eyes then. Cutler, he pretty much threw Cutler into the ring post. He stomped on him for a minute. Pretty much hit him with a hammerlock slam. Pretty much Cutler pretty much threw him out of the ring and did a suicide dive, throwing punches then. But, he was holding his knee at one point, and pretty much when he went to the top rope, and I guess he was, which I thought this was botched. He looked like he legitimately may have hurt his knee, or maybe that's he's selling it or not, but he slipped off the ropes, and MJF came in and did a armbar for a tap out. So this match wasn't really much. So Cutler, I don't know. Listen, I don't know that much about the guy. Wasn't he like, I know he's the Young Bucks friend, but he's like, the camera guy for being the Elite, if I'm not mistaken. So I didn't really know how long this match was going to go. Some people say it was probably nerves with Cutler out there tonight, but I don't know, man. That slip at the end off the top rope, I don't know if that's to do with the story or that was a legitimate botch, because some people are already now saying he may have really hurt his knee in the process of doing that. But, one thing I forgot to mention, I did like when Jim Ross kind of said that was weak to with the whole Brandy Road suicide dive thing. I thought that was funny, Jim Ross saying that was weak. But next part of the show, what was next? But yes, next part of the show though, one thing I did notice, and I kind of knew this at the beginning, was Kevin Smith being there, because they went to Chris Van Vliet. I believe I've seen the show on YouTube a couple times. Pretty good, I will say that. We then went to Kevin Smith and Jason Mewes, or a.k.a. Jay and Silent Bob, Snooch to the Nooch, Smoochy Boochies, or if you've seen any type of Jay and Silent Bob movie, or Clerks, or the animated series, you know who these two guys are, because they have a new movie coming out, which is a reboot, and I think it's a reboot. I saw the trailer. I'm surprised they even have another Jay and Silent Bob movie. Silent Bob looks really, I think he lost weight, Kevin Smith, nowadays. So I heard he did. Didn't he have like a heart attack? I think about a year ago, months ago, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not really sure, but I do kind of remember that happening though with him. But yes, they had Jay and Silent Bob out there. I was waiting for one of these two to make some type of weed joke or talk about hanging in front of the Quick Stop, or cause I saw the photo and I'm like, so what? Jay and Silent Bob are in the tag division now. But as they were trying to talk about the movie, Kevin Smith and Helico and Jack Evans came out. They pretty much said that Morris Day and time sucked to Jay. Pretty much he responded saying like, you guys haven't even won a match yet. Private Party came out then, pretty much, gave Jay and Silent Bob some drinks. Probably didn't give them any weed. But the segment was pretty much over, because I guess they talked about the Private Party facing the Young Bucks next week, because they have a tag tournament that will begin next week, so that's going to go down. But, hey, man, we got to promote someone's movie on here, so why not Jay and Silent Bob, all right? Maybe Dante and Randall will show up next time for the tag division. Next, they went to SCU of Scorpio Sky, doing a very good Obama impression. I'm not going to do it. I can't do a good Obama impression, but his was way good. And, Daniels and Kazarian were like the Secret Service out there. And, this is the worst, really the worst time they've ever been in and stuff. But SCU was pretty much on the entrance ramp then, as they were being interviewed by Shivani, I believe. As, I guess they decided who was going to be in the tag tournament, so they put Daniels and Kazarian in. I wanted to see Scorpio Sky in the tournament, but maybe Scorpio Sky is going to be a single star, and they just have Daniels and Kazarian be the tag team, because they, we've seen those two tag for years pretty much, so that's possibly why. Maybe Scorpio Sky is going to be the breakout star out of the group. I like Scorpio Sky, and I think he has potential to become a big thing in AEW, hopefully at the chance, but I'm holding out for him. I will say that too. I do like the guy, because I thought he was going to be in the tag thing, but I guess they were going to, just go with Daniels and Kazarian then. The Lucha Brothers came out, pretty much saying they need to remind you who is the best tag team in the universe. Pentagon pretty much said Cerro Medio. SCU said SCU, and then they pretty much brawled in until they broke it up after that then. So the segment was okay. I will say that. Well, I would say the SCU thing was okay. I was in a Lucha Brothers thing. That was alright. Just to talk about the tag tournament. Jay and Silent Bob being there, I'm not really mad at it, but I don't know if a lot of people really pop for them or just pop for that whole segment with Private Party and and Helico and Jack Evans. I thought it could have been better, but it was okay. They showed the Elite getting ready in the back. As also Jericho and LAX. I'm sorry, I'm trying not to call them LAX, but they're still LAX to me. But next match on the card, Hangman Page versus Pac. Personally, I think this was the best match out of the entire night. I like this match a lot. Okay, this was a great match to watch. This was like the best one out of the night to me. Okay, dude, this dude freaking Pac did a freaking springboard 450, into the ring that just looked insane. Okay, all right, it looked like an insane move. Like Pac is great out there. Both him and Hangman was great. One thing people notice about Pac's face being messed up at the end, I think, is when Pac went off the top rope and Hangman hit him with a forearm. That may have been the spot that kind of had him bleeding in the face. I'm not really sure. Of course, they did that whole commercial thing, because when they kind of went to commercial, they had Pac throwing Hangman into the turnbuckle, hurting his shoulder. And as they went through commercial, they went back in. Pretty much was a missile drop kick by Pac then. They pretty much in the ring right after that. They both kind of hit some back and forth punches. Page was trying to go for the Deadeye, but Pac avoided it. He avoided it then. Pretty much getting out of there. Pretty much he went to the ringside. Hangman hit a moonsault to the floor right after that. He went for the buckshot lariat, but Pac got out of there then. And as you know, pretty much they went to the referee. Earl Hebner was distracted. Hangman pretty much kicked Pac big in the... But yes, a big nut shot to Hangman. Pac hit the Black Arrow, they're calling it now. And what was it called? Not the Rings of Saturn, but they're calling it the Brutalizer. Very deadly moves by Pac out there. Yeah, it was heel. It was a low blow and everything, but it did look pretty brutal. I will say that, especially that Black Arrow to Hangman's back. So Pac, moving forward. Some say, my friends say, hopefully this guy is in the world title picture soon. I think they're gonna keep Hangman away from it for a while. Just give him to what I've seen out there right now. Since his match with Jericho. So I don't think we're gonna see him anytime near the world title picture right now. Next, they had Britt Baker come out on commentary then, as we were ready for the AEW women's title on the line, Rio versus Nyla Rose. Okay, listen, this match was, and I think the crowd had, in a way, was at least into this match, I will say that, but I didn't hate this match. I think it was okay to good. Do I think it was a bit sloppy botches out there? Yeah, I think it was. I think they kind of won the crowd a little bit over more and more. Because, one thing I didn't expect was Nyla Rose getting a chair and then putting some chairs on the ground and then her doing a freaking big, like right on the apron, doing a big somersault senton on the chairs, pretty much missing Rio then. Because Rio came back with a double stomp then. I did like that little Matrix thing. She slipped out of Rose and pretty much Matrix herself back up to her feet then. That was pretty cool. Rio pretty much tried to go for a Northern Lights suplex twice. But pretty much, Nyla Rose being bigger than Rio did not help. But yes, though, after the I think it was the Northern Lights suplex, though, yeah, couldn't get it at the time. Nyla tried to go for a powerbomb, I believe, at one point, but Rio was able to reverse it. She tried to get out the powerbomb to lift her up, but she fell to the ground then. Nyla Rose pretty much kept taking down Rio. Rio pretty much avoided one more slam, and pretty much Nyla had hit the Death Valley driver then, which was a big near fall at that point. A lot of people think she was going to win there. Nyla pretty much dragged her to the corner. She went to the top rope, but Rio had finally got to her feet to pretty much, got to Nyla Rose in the corner then. She hit a suplex from the top rope, which, looked pretty deadly. I will say that too. And then she hit her with like a few, it was like several running knees. I think it was like 2 or 3 of them before she got the win. So like I said before, this was a. I thought this was an okay to good match. I just think there was a lot of botches out there. I think it got better later in time. I know a lot of people are kind of surprised that Nyla Rose wasn't the one to win, but Rio won. Listen, I look at it like this, and I may get some heat for this right now, and I probably said it before. If Nyla Rose, I believe, would have won this match, it would have been pandering. I'm like what a lot of people have been saying on the internet now. It would have been pandering because going into this match, I was comparing this to the NXT women's match. I'm like, okay, and I hadn't even seen NXT, but I'm gonna assume that was better than by default. Probably way better than this one, cause hey, what am I gonna go? I'm gonna go with this one, or it's like I'm going like what people said, the 80-pound Japanese girl versus a guy, pretty much. That's basically what this is. That's I'm kind of with some other people now. That's kind of how I look at it. Um, Pretty much a dude, and I just feel like they would have been and I know AEW is doing the whole for everybody type of thing, but I do believe that if Nyla Rose won, I would have seen comments already of just saying AEW was pandering to her. They're pandering to a different they're pandering to a certain community, and I wouldn't have been surprised if she had won this match. So in a way, I think they just went with Rio maybe to avoid some flack. I don't know, but I do believe Nyla Rose won. I think it just would have been pandering. I honestly would have believed that. And then they bring Michael Nakazawa out there. I don't know if he's like some interviewer now, and I think people started to boo at him then when they saw him. I'm not the biggest fan of Michael Nakazawa myself, especially with that stupid oil stuff that keeps going on with him. But I guess he was gonna do an interview with Rio in Japanese, but Nyla Rose attacked him then. Pretty much, she hit a Liger bomb, which she had to do this 2 times, by the way, unless she couldn't get him at first. But she hit a Liger bomb then on him. She was about to do one on Rio, the Death Valley Driver off the apron, but Kenny Omega came out and made the save then. I think a lot of people were intrigued by Omega coming out because I believe him and Rio have some type of history together. I've only seen a couple clips of them tagging together. I don't know all of it, but it does look a little bit intriguing that, he was the one to make the save to save her. So a lot of people say they have history together. So I don't know much about it, but it was interesting that Omega was the one to come out since one of the Elite guys saved somebody tonight. Next thing you know, the Elite came out themselves. Of course, they had their YouTube music. The Elite, Kenny Omega, and the Young Bucks as they went against Santana Ortiz. Listen, when I heard Santana Ortiz and that helicopter sound play, I kept thinking LAX's music. I'm trying not to call them LAX because they're not technically LAX anymore, but I still look at them as LAX. I know they had some new music. It was pretty good. Pretty much Chris Jericho came out then next. It was time for the main event. I like this main event. Of course, it was about to go into a super kick party as soon as Jericho hit the walls of Jericho on Omega, and then they start super kicking the crap out of everybody. But this is what I thought was the weird part of this main event, though, because when the Young Bucks did a dive outside on Santana Ortiz, Kenny was about to go into it, but next thing you know, Jon Moxley shows up in the crowd, but good to see that he's healed and his arm is better from that staph infection, so he is back now since we didn't see him at All Out, and the last thing we really saw Jon Moxley was at the G1 tournament in New Japan. Pretty much him and Omega brawled, which this was confusing to me. Odd you have this kind of going on because, number one, why was there no bell rung? There's no finish. This is supposed to be a DQ, right? Like, where's the DQ finish in this, huh? Like, I was very confused. I'm like, so is this match no disqualification now? Like, shouldn't the bell ring? I was just sitting there looking very confused at this entire main event. I'm like, okay, these guys brawl all the way to the back, fighting some VIP area. Kenny takes a mop because, the cleaner and hits him. But then Jon Moxley hits a big, it's not the Dirty Deeds. I'm calling it the Death Rider like New Japan does, onto a glass table, which like Omega hit. Moxley hit more, but, he's got to protect Omega's head going into that thing. But they hit the glass and everything. I think his vest kind of protected him, too, from, glass shattering on his back, bleeding. But I found that very odd. So it's like, what? It's just now a 2-on-3. We're not going to ring the bell, which the referee clearly saw Mox attack Omega. So why not ring the bell? That didn't make no type of sense to me in this main event. And, the match still went on. And it was still pretty good with the Bucks versus LAX and Jericho and everything, but when it kind of got near the end with Jericho getting involved, they were going to go for the Meltzer driver, but Jericho pretty much hit the code breaker on I think Nick in midair. He hit the Judas effect on Matt. Then LAX did that cannonball thing they do that looks really cool all the time with Santana. But after the Judas effect, Jericho and LAX won. Then after that, Cody came out for the save, which finally the Elite guys start saving each other, but they didn't save Cody earlier in the night. Sammy Guevara came back in. He kicked Cody in the nuts. Dustin Rhodes came in. Red Dust right there. He came in for the save. But next thing you know, we heard some rumors on the internet about him, but Jake Hager came in. Not trying not to call him Jack Swagger, but Jake Hager, currently in Bellator right now, came for the save, also taking down Dustin Rhodes as LAX, Hager, Jericho, and Guevara start beating the crap out of the Elite guys and Dustin. People, they all chanted "We the People." Then they took a podium in there at one point, and pretty much did the gut wrench powerbomb on Dustin Rhodes. That looked very brutal, by the way. And then they picked up Cody, hit him with a Judas effect in as they all stood together to close the show to be up the Elite. Now, personally, I think this was very overbooked in the main event. I get it's their first time. It's the first ever episode of the show, but I don't know if you want to end the show like that. It's a little questionable, I will say that, because number one, it should have been a DQ once Moxley and Omega started brawling. I don't know why this match kind of kept going and everything, but then you brought Jake Hager out, and did I believe it was some overbooking in this? Yeah, I do believe it was. Overall, I think this was a fun show. I think the crowd made it a lot of fun. I think the best match of the night was Pac versus Hangman. The main event was just a little bit too screwy for me in a way. I liked it, but it kind of went all over the place. We got a debut from Jake Hager. I thought Cody and Guevara was a good match to kick off the show, which was enjoyable too. The segments, they were okay, with SCU and the Lucha Brothers, but I don't know if the crowd was really into it like that. Same with Jay and Silent Bob going against, Angelico and Jack Evans antagonizing him, and Private Party just walking through the crowd and everything. The women's match, I just think it was okay to good at best. It just was a lot sloppiness in it. The crowd, like I said, the crowd made a difference into the show, but I just was not a fan of this match. I think it was good to okay, in my opinion, all right? I just think it took some time, but it did get better, though, all right? Now, like I said, I know people are surprised that Rio won, but in a way, I can see why they did it. I could be wrong. Like I said, I'm not going to go back to the pandering argument, but that's kind of what I kind of think about that in a way, too. But Kenny Come for the Save was interesting. Overall, like I said, it's a fun show. I think it was good. They have some things to work on. There was a couple botches and problems here, but I think it was very enjoyable for their first night on TV. And I think tonight tonight had to make it important if people were gonna take this show seriously. Okay, it had to be a big night for them. All right, and I don't know how well NXT did. Like I said, I'm doing this review first because I saw this show first. Now, I may start doing a thing where I watch both shows first and then review both. Maybe, I don't know, but I'm trying to keep these things separate right now. So AEW, I just think it was a fun show tonight, but it's still a long road to go here, people. But like I said before, the war has begun. This is episode 1, and we'll see what happens from this. But overall, I did enjoy AEW tonight, and like I said, it was a really good show. I had fun watching it, and the crowd was really hyped into it, and I liked it, okay? I really did, and I got to hype up for their next pay-per-view for Full Gear. So that's going to be the case, all right? But other than that, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you thought about Dynamite tonight. Follow me on Twitter, HoodandKnight890. So it's gonna be a lot going on. We still got more wrestling shows this week. Okay, still got SmackDown Friday. But overall, tell me what you thought about this show. All right, tell me what did you think. Did you think this was a great show in general? Okay, but other than that, I'm out here. I'm off to watch NXT. Will I be back with a review later in the night? I'm not sure, depending on how long it takes me to watch the show tonight. But I'm out here. I'll see you guys later. Peace out.